very good afternoon and welcome to this afternoon's edition of the Diaspora Urgent Question with me, your host, Carole Nyakudya, right here on Zimba Live TV, where today Zimbabweans woke up to the news that was very surprising, that had been passed down by Magistrate Nduna, who has passed a judgment to remove and ban Beatrice Mtetwa from representing freelance journalist Hopewell Chin'ono, and she has further ordered that Prosecutor General institute contempt of court proceeding against her for the Law and Enforcement Law Society of Zimbabwe to be provided, as well as a copy of that judgment. I think what they're trying to do is to be able to take away Beatrice's license. And of course, a lot of Zimbabweans have taken to social media expressing their shock. And joining me today on the program is Doug Coltart, who is a fearless lawyer in the nation of Zimbabwe. Doug, welcome to the program.
Sure, thanks very much for having me.
And obviously, Doug, you work with the Zimbabwe human rights lawyers, and how long have you been doing that?
I've been since 2014. I initially started, and then I've been back in Zimbabwe since 2017.
And you work as well very closely with Beatrice, and so what type of person is she? I've watched a few documentaries where obviously she seems really sort of somebody that is not afraid to tackle any kind of situation. What sort of person is Beatrice?
Yeah, Beatrice is someone who's very fearless, fiercely ethical and passionate about human rights and the rule of law in Zimbabwe, and she's someone who doesn't let this kind of intimidation stop her from doing her work. She knows that she's just doing her job as a lawyer, and that this type of persecution comes when you stand up to the system. And so this is not her first rodeo. She's been beaten up by the police. She's been arrested. She's been detained for an extended period of time, and so she's used to the attacks that do come from the state, and so I think she's taking this in her stride.
She's taking it in her stride, and of course you make reference there to that this is not the first incident that she has been facing persecution from the state, and you yourself have been involved in incidences. I mean, November of 2019, where you were representing the president of the Rural Teachers Association, and you got assaulted yourself. And what makes you, as Zimbabwe lawyers for human rights, consider continuing in this journey where you're representing people that are maybe falsely accused, if you call it that? What gives you that drive, I suppose?
Well, I think we have to, if we want to achieve the Zimbabwe that we want, if we want a Zimbabwe where that for our children to grow up in, where they're not facing the same level of oppression and persecution, just as the previous generation experienced the oppression of the Rhodesian regime. Now we are, my generation is experiencing the oppression of the Mugabe regime and the Mnangagwa regime. We have to keep fighting so that our children don't have to experience that. I think many of us are deeply grounded in our faith in God as a God of justice, which for me personally, that's a huge motivation and kind of guiding force. And then thirdly, I think I'm deeply inspired by the clients that I represent. People like Obert Masaraure, who you mentioned earlier, the president of Artus. People like Robson Chere, also of Artus. These two young gentlemen who I represented recently, who did a two-man demo on the 31st of July, Terence Guta and Loveridge Chinjwende. These, inspiring people who really take major risks, are part of what motivates me to keep going.
And great motivators there as well, Doug. Just maybe to ask you there, how is Hopewell doing? Because obviously all of these judgments are coming as a result of Beatrice, yourself, and the team making the decision to basically represent Hopewell Chin'ono, the freelance journalist who is incarcerated at present. Have you been to visit him, and how is he doing, and what charges are being brought against him?
Yeah, I just saw him this morning at court. He's doing okay. It's obviously a horrible thing that he's going through, and the conditions at Chikurubi Maximum Prison where he's being kept are utterly horrific. His rights continue to be denied, despite us obtaining a court order to enforce his rights as a prisoner, to consult with his lawyers in private, to see his family, etc. So all of these things are certainly horrendous things that he's going through, and yet he does maintain a resolute spirit. I think he is, he knows that he is standing on the right side of history. He's standing up for justice. He's standing up for truth. And so that gives him a real sense of peace, I think, despite all that's going on. He's facing a number of charges, essentially all related to his reporting as a journalist on the planned 31st July protests. He's been charged with incitement to public violence and incitement to participate in a gathering with intent to promote public violence. So yeah, these are the charges that he is facing. He remains strong.
Is he likely to do time for it? Is he likely to be incarcerated for a long period of time, or are you expecting that his bail hearing will be favorable to him and to your team?
Look, what we have seen over the past few weeks is very concerning in terms of the denial of bail, and so we are under no delusions that at least from the state's perspective, they intend to keep him in for a long time. We are, however, hopeful that we do have a very strong case on the merits. With regard to both his bail, and when the trial comes around, we believe that that this is a clear-cut case, and so we will do everything that we can to ensure that we get him out as soon as possible.
And I know that your time is very limited this afternoon, and but maybe just another couple of questions, and I'll let you go there. Just to find out then, who's likely to be the lead counsel if Beatrice is actually, or she has been judged, the judgment is that she cannot continue as lead counsel. So who's likely then to take over?
Yeah, so Beatrice has been removed from the case, and we've briefed Advocate Taona Nyamakura to take over the bail application, and that is that is the position going forward.
And obviously Beatrice says that there was a statement this afternoon where they said that they obviously are going to contest that judgment. Do you feel that they will be a favorable response there, or is that perhaps a battle that cannot be won?
Yeah. So we will be challenging that decision. Look, we strongly feel that the decision of the magistrate is wrong in law. It's virtually unprecedented in Zimbabwean legal history, and so we do feel confident on the merits of our appeal or our taking on review of that decision to bar Beatrice. And other legal commentators, including Professor Maduku, have expressed the same. However, given the nature of this environment, anything can happen. So we will see what happens when that matter gets before the High Court.
Having worked both under the Mugabe regime and the Mnangagwa regime, which do you think is worse?
Well, I don't really like to make comparisons to say which is worse, because in many ways, essentially, it's just the same regime. It was a rearranging of the deck chairs. Everyone who is involved in this regime were involved in the worst atrocities under the Mugabe regime, and so essentially, it's a continuation of more of the same brutality, the same oppression, the same violation of rights. So it really is kind of one and the same regime. But I think and what we have seen over the past sort of 40 decades of ZANU-PF rule is that the extreme repression comes in waves as they seek to as new resistance to the oppressive rule emerges, the brutal human rights crackdowns increase. So currently, we are seeing one of the most brutal human rights crackdowns probably in the last decade, comparable to the 2007-2008 era. But of course, there were waves before that. In the early 2000s, of course, the genocide, which was perpetrated in the 1980s. So to that degree, yes, today is worse than it has been probably in the last 10 years of Mugabe's rule. But it's just another wave of repression that we've seen consistently from ZANU-PF for the last 40 years.
And finally, your message to Zimbabwe at this point in history?
I think my message to Zimbabweans would be that we all have a role to play in creating the Zimbabwe that we want, and we need to all be willing to take action to do so peacefully. We need to remain peaceful and nonviolent, but we do need to stand up and be counted. We cannot have a situation where we outsource the struggle for a better Zimbabwe to someone else, whether that someone else is Beatrice Mtetwa or Nelson Chamisa or Ivan Mawarire or whoever the so-called messiah of the day is. We cannot afford to do that. We as Zimbabweans each need to say, what role can I play, and peacefully take a stand to demand a better Zimbabwe, because freedom is never given; it is always taken.
And that it's very profound there. That freedom is never given; it is always taken. And you do add peacefully as well in your commentary today. Doug Coltart, thank you so much for your time this afternoon, and of course to you and your team for continually representing those that are oppressed in the nation of Zimbabwe. Thank you for the generational purpose that you've taken. Thank you.
Thanks very much for having me. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Good evening. And of course, that is Doug Coltart that we're speaking to this evening, right here on Zimba Live TV. My name is Carole Nyakudya, and if you are just joining, this of course is the Diaspora Urgent Question, where today we were speaking to Doug Coltart out of the nation of Zimbabwe, and he is part of the Zimbabwe Lawyer for Human Rights, and he is giving commentary there on the judgment that was passed by Magistrate Luna this afternoon, where the judgment is to remove Beatrice Mtetwa from representing freelance journalist Hopewell Chin'ono, and also the magistrate has ordered that Beatrice Mtetwa's license be revoked. And so, what are your thoughts? What are your comments? What do you think about the situation that is happening in Zimbabwe? The hashtag Zimbabwe Lives Matter, is that something that is still of concern to you? Or indeed have you given up? And you heard Doug Coltart there saying, this cannot be a situation where we're expecting the messiah of the day to be taking on the mandate, but rather that every Zimbabwean needs to be taking on some responsibility as well. What are your thoughts? And is this something that you are going to continue to have? Now, I'm not sure whether we have enough time to take in a call or two, but if not, let me just check with our team to see whether that is something that we can do. And you might be able to give me a call very quickly and put your commentary on that. Other than that, our responsibility as a generation continues, that each person has to take responsibility for what they think and what they deem to be the Zimbabwe that they design. So let me just see who else is joining us on the program today. Cindy Murvisi, welcome to the program. Noma K, welcome to the program. Charles Tatenda, welcome to the program. Lisa, welcome to the program. Charles Tatenda is also there. Okay, guys, let's also be mindful of the language that we're using with each other in the commentary as well. All right, well, from me, Carole Nyakudya, and the Zimbabwe TV family, until next time, we'll continue to come and give you updates of what is happening in the nation and, of course, around the community. And until next time, thank you. Goodbye.
Is this the house for Mr. and Mrs. Nzongo?
Yeah, how can I help?
Right, I'm with Home Office, and we believe you are in breach of our immigration rules, okay?
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
I need to come in and ask you a few questions right now.
Please, sir, just give me some time.
I don't care.
Okay.
Right, so I need to ask you a few questions. Do not lie to me. If you lie to me, I swear I will make sure you're on the next flight back to Africa. You understand?
Very understood.
Is there something wrong? Yes, there is. I believe that this man is only with you because you have a British passport, love.
No, that's not true. Me and my wife are great. We're fine, aren't we? Yeah, we are. And I was just cooking the fish and chips and I bought her the scarf that she's wearing.
Oi, shut your mouth.
Okay.
I need to hear from the lady.
Oh, every couple has its ups and downs, but we do the best we can.
Ma'am, you do not need to lie for this man.
Did I mention that we also went to Isle of Wight? Do you remember? And we even went to Stonehenge. I loved it. And I love my wife. I really love my wife.
You know what? Enough. I've had enough of your little games. You come on with me.
Okay, wait, please. Let me call Tanlaw Solicitors first.
Who is that?
Tanlaw Solicitors. They're my lawyers.
You have lawyers?
Yeah. If you're worried, calm down, take a deep breath, and call Tanlaw Solicitors today.
With no money, a death in the diaspora can be overwhelming. Trauma of begging for funeral expenses. Loss of personal and family dignity. An undignified and disrespectful send-off. Spiralling unpaid bills. No peace of mind. It doesn't have to be like that. At Diaspora Insurance, we know it's about a dignified send-off and peace of mind that comes with knowing all things are in order. We therefore designed a policy with the diaspora community in mind. You get cover from £1,000 to £20,000. Insure yourself and family with premium as little as £5 a month. Guaranteed acceptance. Guaranteed cover for life. Multi-currency protection. US dollars, Canadian dollars, euros, Australian dollars, sterling and rands. Worldwide protection. Your policy is portable from country to country. Cash payment within 24 hours. Flexible use of your payout. It helps knowing that with Diaspora Insurance, your life will be celebrated no matter what. For a quote, visit www.diasporainsurance.com or +44 121 295 1116 UK and international. +27 10 109 6555 South Africa.
Ndipe mari yangu ndati ndipe mari yangu ndachotamba nonda mari yangu urozvinzwa andisomboda hangu
apa ndizvonondira mvura $10 ndarambopa mari yako here
iwe ndakakubvira rini chikudza kuti 17 akwana chini pamari yangu kubvira rini
mari yako kanewe
saka chikunetsa chii iwe wakandiudza kuti watumirwa mari saka chikunetsa chii kuti utore mari
ndakatumirwa but haisi kutoreka zvokumhanya ndane 3 days kwete 3 days ndichienda notora mari yako but first day ndakasvika zvikanzi nhamba yavanhu yakwana second day ndikanzi mari yapera
iwe saka urifunga kuti tumastatement tokota kutaura uri kudza mwana mudiki
asi mastatement
iwe ndakatumirwa mari ndakaikolekta pagedap yako iri kuramba sei kusvika yako runetsa sei
kana ukatumirwa locally kanini zvangu zviri different ndotumirwa padiaspora saka ingagosiwa
akodzoti yangu yakabva locally ndiani handina hama dziri kudiaspora mari yangu ndakaitumirwa nasisi wangu wekulondon ndovakatondipa mari iyo vakatonditumira mari iyo ndakasvikaisirwa pagedhi nesendi tu kuita mahome deliveries urunzwa kuti wangotumirwa mari yako yotosvika pagedhi apo wotosainira mari yako obva wapiwa netishet pamusoro saka kuti ndakaiona upi
tokwakawana tisheti asigonyeta akusenda usendituka ndaane connection
munoda zvikwereta samunzvizi vari kuita mahome deliveries as long as uchigara muharare bulawayo kana chitungwiza vari kuita mahome deliveries as long as futi watumirwa $100 and above iwo ndudza kuti 3 days uchifambira mari vari kuita mahome deliveries kutoenda utongonosainira mari yako obva watopiwa netishet
kana vachiita home delivery inangu handizvo kuti mari yangu isvika yakashota
inosvika yakashota kuta sei
delivery
hakuna mari inosvika yakashota iwe ari kukutumira mari yei ndanongobatirwa 499 iwe wakatumirwa 150 unongotorera 150 wakatumirwa 200 unongotorera 200 chete
saka macharges ese anenge ari
kuna sendazve
saka next time chatashandise send
next time kuti iwe rikola mari
ini ndongorikola mari ndindaitumira
mariko anetsa muzimbabwe yese ingori riko
handisi ndatumira ndichaudza iye atumira kuti
saka chiudza akutumira wacho arikole mari okuisira pasenditu ndoda mari yangu handiti zvokura iwe nyango yakaita dola
Sending groceries from the diaspora to Zimbabwe has never been this easy. Imagine if all you had to do was click a button from the comfort of your home. Whether you're in the UK, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, the US, Ireland, Germany, or South Africa, simply go to zimmegastore.com and shop away. Pay via credit or debit card, PayPal, or if you're in New Zealand or in Australia, use Afterpay. Now you can tell your loved ones in Zimbabwe to expect the delivery on that day or the very next. Buy single items or in bulk. The choice is yours. We deliver to Harare, Bulawayo, Rusape, Gweru, Kwekwe, Masvingo, Filabusi, Gokwe, Murambinda, Mvurui for only $10 or £8. Zim Mega Store gives you efficient, convenient, fast delivery, and we do it with a smile too. Shop at super low prices from our wide range of products and get reliable delivery. You can count on us to be there when you can't. Zim Mega Store. Let us give you the peace of mind. Sending groceries from the diaspora to Zimbabwe has never been this easy.